Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This mega show, we're talking about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the Sandman Season 2, Episode 10. Great episode. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode. So let's break it down. The penultimate episodes, in a sense, But first and foremost, we're picking up with the kindly ones and their assault on the dreaming. They killed Gilbert at the end of last episode. They kill Abel this episode, and they kill Merv. Merv was like, you know what? I'm gonna go out fighting. I'm a pumpkin with a gun. I'm your worst nightmare. Fires bullets at them, and he's just kind of like, oh, I don't see them in what's going on. I expected Lyda to like cut his head, stab him. It's like, no, they flung the bullets back at him because I guess it's like you can't really fight the kindly ones. They kind of exist beyond. I mean, he is a dream, so it's like he's not on the same level of like maybe some other being fought them, but they are who they are, so there is no fighting them, I guess. But like Merv dies, and they plan like, oh, we'll kill Matthew, and Dream won't like that we killed kind of something so dear to him, so he rushes back to the castle where Kane is there, Lucien, as well as the Corinthian with Daniel. And they have to hunker down. It's, we don't really see the rest of the residents, but like previously, Dream had already said that, like, the rest of the residents were sent to other realms but these were kind of like the most like loyal subjects that kind of stay behind. Well, and some of the creatures, because like the Pegasus, the Griffin, and the Dragon still stayed in their positions, but something I want to talk about too, I think is so interesting. To me, it seems so jacked up that yes, the kindly ones are doing their duty. It is what it is. They have to seek it out. But it is also effed up that they like, there is this like, I mean, to them, it's like their job is vengeance. So I get like they get giddy about it, but like to say it's just simply their duty, like they went about it the most cruel way possible. It's like, we're not like, I think it should be easy. Kill Dream and let it be done, but the need to destroy the dreaming as well. But I guess it's like Lyta's fury is at everything that belongs to Dream, because it's like I want Dream to feel what I'm feeling, the hurt and pain. But even then, there are moments where Lyta is like slipping out of it, like when she killed Abel and before she could pick up the sword again, she was almost hesitating. So there's some of her buried deep inside, but her rage has been co-opted by the kindly ones. As I said, she's their avatar. It's like, oh, she's no longer Lyta Hall. She is part of us. But it's just, it's sad that her revenge sent her down this path. And once again, these were machinations set forth by Loki. So at the same time, this is all going down. Back in Fairy, Dream can't leave until he gives Nuala her boon. And for her, it's like, the thing I wish is for you to go back to the dreaming and try to protect it, and then you and I will meet again. Because, her brother as well as Titania are like, you could stay here and be safe, but for him it's like, no, I'm not going to leave my realm at the wrath of the kindly one. So because of what Nuala wished, he's able to go back to the dreaming. And he got there just in time because the kindly ones were like about to kill the Griffin, and it's just in the most cruel way too, like making it age rapidly till it almost died. But luckily Dream got back in time, restored it, and then was like, come in, you're my guest. But he's just kind of like, leave, like he's like, right, you guys go into the throne room, I'll settle things with the kind ones. But they're like, no, they're not going anywhere. You're going to suffer for what you've done. And Dream tries to speak to Lyta. It's like, you've been deceived, your son is right here. But then like the kindly ones are, yes, he might be alive, but he's also dead, he's part of the dreaming. And she's just like, no, I want my child. But they are saying like, no, you can't. We aren't rescuers. Our job is vengeance. That is our duty. The fact of the matter is, we are here to help you get your revenge. Your son, you'll never kind of be able to get him back, but our job also isn't to rescue him. It is just to kill and get revenge. And so because of that, it's a situation of they were able to kind of, for a split second, Lyta came back to herself and kind of left. She's kind of back with the... Because it's almost very Inception-y, because Hetty's got her sleeping and dreaming, because even Dream was like, you're dreaming right now, because she's it's like I said, Inception, dream within a dream within a dream, because she's dreaming at Hetty's place, meeting with the wise, the kindly ones, and then they took her into the dreaming. So she kind of wakes up from the dreaming with the kindly ones talking to her, like, yo, pick the sword back up. You've got to see this through. But it's like it bought them just enough time for Dream to do something he doesn't want to do. But it's like the only way he can protect the dreaming is he has to destroy their avatar, and yeah, eventually someone else will eventually fill that role, and the kindly ones will get what they want. But for at least now, I can at least postpone the dreaming's destruction even further. So he plans on killing Lyta, and he goes to where Hetty is, and Hetty's like, oh, I expected you sooner or later. She says, like, this is nothing personal against you, it's just the deal I have with the three. It's like they allow me to live as long as I do some odd jobs for them here and there. Essentially, it's like a quid pro quo situation. She's like, how do you think I've lived for 281 years? It's just, I mean, but it's like, oh, like, you could kill Lyta. You probably could go about it, but ends up bringing up the fact is killing has never really been Dream's thing. Like, obviously, like, killing his son was one thing, but it's like it's never been in Dream, and he even has this reluctancy because, you know, Hetty's like, you could do that, but what happens when Daniel finds out you murdered his mom? You know, that's gonna cause some issues. But she says, like, right, we are here now because of your choices. You killed your son, and that led to this. But even she's like, that's the irony of it all. We are all here at this exact moment for the exact same reason. Lost children, you know. You ended up having to kill your son, and now, you know, Lyta, you basically took her son away from her, you know? Hell, he even plays into this line later on from Dream, which is a heartbreaking line where he's like, I killed my son twice. Once when I chose not to help him, and once when I decided to help him. But Dream couldn't bring himself to do that because, you know, having killed a child, he like, can't imagine taking away, like, because what did your mother's only crime for being manipulated by someone because she was grieving, believing her child to be dead? Like, how can I blame you? Because you are just sadly a victim in all of this. You are part of someone else's manipulation and a pawn in their scheme. So, like, how can I fault you? How can I kill you? How can I do that to Daniel, who I'm asking to be my replacement? So the scene that really got me teared up is when he's kind of saying goodbye to everyone because he wants to send them away. Because his plan is, I'm going to go to the edges of the dreaming, and I'm going to confront the kindly ones. And he's going to send the others away. And he looks at them, especially Lucy, and she's like, this is goodbye then. He's like, no. He's like, I'm going to say something I haven't, you know, said, but it's like, thank you for everything, always, you know? And it's this beautiful, touching moment where it's just like he knows what's next for him, and he sends them away because he's like, Daniel and I have spoken, and he will take over, and also the necklace he has will protect you guys when this is all said and done. But while they're gone, Matthew pops up because he's like, I thought I sent you away. It's like, yeah, but I'm not that easy to get rid of. But it's like, just level with me. If you go to meet the kindly ones, you're not coming back, are you? He's like, no. And if I go with you, I won't be coming back in. And he's like, I doubt it. Then he's like, well, then we'll see this through together, boss. It's like it's very beautiful. And it's just like, I got your back, boss. We'll see this through together. And so he reaches the edges of the dreaming, pouring down rain, obviously reflective of just everything that's going down. And there they eventually he calls out to the ladies, and it's them alone because Lyta is back in the, you know, the main part of the dreaming, destroying it, you know, cutting it up, like ripping it up from its roots. At the same time this is happening, you have Nola like going to her brother, and it's like, yeah, get rid of my glamour so I can go back to the dreaming. He's like, that's not where you should stay here. And it's, you know, and that's this conversation that's kind of popped up in some stuff I'm watching recently where it's like, you make selfish decisions because you're kind of making it more about you than other person. Like, yes, he loves his sister, but it's also about him because he's like, no one here cares about me. He's like, I could get drunk, I can miss this, I could sleep with the wrong person's wife or significant other at the wrong time, and none of it will matter because all people care about is hearing the story. That's all I'm good for people is entertainment. But to you, I am more than that. I'm family. You're literally the only person in the entire kingdom that legitimately even gives a shit about me wholeheartedly and doesn't want from me. You just your us being family is enough. And it's like, oh, you could come with me. And Clarikin's like, yes, I could. But then who would be alive here in Fairy? Because we would both most likely die. But who'd be in here in Fairy to remember how wonderful you are with your glamour and then takes it away, or without it? So I'm curious what Clarikin looks like without his glamour. It's like, obviously he's scared, thinking this might be the last time he sees his sister. And it's like, no one wants to be like, hey, I'm basically signing your death warrant by letting you go. So I think for Clarikin, it was like, for the first time, I'm not going to be selfish. I'm going to do what my sister wants, because every other time I've always done what was best for me, because I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be without my sister. So for once, I think he chose to not be selfish and try to do the selfless thing and do what his sister wanted for once. Because every time throughout this season, he's constantly done what was better for him, what was better for the queen, but once again, mainly was better for him. And in the disguise of, oh, I'm doing what's best for you, sister. But it's like, no, giving you the freedom and the autonomy to, like, make your choice and not strip those choices away from you. That's what I can do as your brother. That's how I show you my love. And so before she leaves, the queen stops her. But for her, it's like, I don't belong in this. With or without Dream, the dreaming is where I belong. And she's like, you can't go anywhere without a sword. Because I think she feels the sincerity in what Nula's doing. Because maybe there's a part of Queen Titania that's kind of like, I don't know if I could do that given a chance. And maybe she almost looks at it like, maybe I had my choices in the past and I made other decisions, and you're choosing to be there, trying to do what you believe is right. And who am I to take? I made my choices. Everyone has made their choices. Once again, your brother's giving his blessing. So who am I to stand in your way? Especially knowing, like, well, you kind of brought him here and kind of set forth, because now that he had left his realm, even though he came back, the sanctity of, oh, because now that they've made their assault, it's weird. Like, he's left before and come back, but the difference is they've made their assault now, and so that now that he's left while they're making their assault on the dreaming, now that their declaration, the blood debt has been, like, activated. Now, anytime you leave post that, there's no, like, undoing it. It's free reign on the dreaming and dream. But either way, with sword in hand, she gallops towards the dreaming. And at the same time this is all going down, Death shows up in the throne room, because there was the conversations about, like, what's going to happen now. But in particular, like, bringing up who they're going to miss, like Merv and stuff, and obviously Abel and the Corinthians, like, no one's going to miss me. And it's like, oh, that's not true. And also Abel is like, Abel's like, no, Cain is like, no, I won't. He's like, I never really liked you. Abel kind of liked you enough, but he liked everybody. But then Lucian makes the Corinthian feel better. It's like, he missed you. And he's like, really? Dream did? It's like, yeah. I think at the end of the day, he was just brokenhearted that you left and just chose to stay in the waking. He's like, yeah, I think that kind of was the point. But then Daniel activates the orb, the one that basically Dream used to remake the dreaming after his captivity, after Merv already spent all that time rebuilding the palace and everything, and showcase it, like, okay, so he really has become the new Dream to the extent, but they take it away from him because it's like, hey, just not ready, like, you don't have to take up that mantle yet, because doing that, letting him play with the orb and doing all that would kind of be like, yeah, it's almost like, well, for one, you're a child and you don't really know what you're doing, so we need to be careful about that. But it would also be almost accepting that Dream is gone. It's like, well, nothing's happening yet, nothing's solidified until Death shows up. And the Corinthians like, you're not going to take me or him. And she's like, I'm not here for you. And the moment she says that, she's like, where's your Dream? It's like, he went to see the kindly ones. And she's like, oh, I'll stick around. You're like, she knows what's going to happen. She kind of hopes it's not the case, but she's here for a reason, and everyone's kind of feeling it. And so Dream has his confrontation with the kindly ones, and it's like, will this only end? And they're like, it could only ever end one way. It was always only going to end one way. And so he sends Matthew back to say, like, my sister's most likely waiting for me. So this is the road we're down. There's no changing it now. So you go and you stay with the others afterwards. He's like, I can't come back. And it's like, no. And he's like, out. And, Dream says goodbye to him. He's like, I'll see you again when you come back to the castle. Still in denial to the end. It gets sent on his way. And Dream waits for his sister. And they sit and they talk. And it's this beautiful moment, because it's kind of like similar to the conversation he had with Gilbert last episode about how much he's changed. Because for Dream, he feels like I deserved it. Because she's like, you could have done anything. You could have left like our brother. But he's like, I could not. And she's like, you wouldn't have. You can. Not just because of the duty and stuff like that, because that's just who Dream is. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of the duty boundness and duty that he stands by, but it's in responsibility. But more so than anything, it's like, that's just who you are, brother. She's like, I've known you longer than anyone else. And that's always been who you are. But you have changed. You're not the same person, you know? Because Dream is saying like he's kind of, even kind of saying like even the dreaming in its own way has kind of become like a prison, always has been, because he's always had the heavy anchor that is his responsibilities and duties, and he's kind of pushed that aside to some small degree, but it's always been this heavy thing that he's bound himself for. And it's just kind of like he talks to his sister where it's just like, she's telling like the kindly ones like, leave us alone, this is between me and my brother. And she's just like, you have changed. And it's like, he's like, I'm tired, sister, I'm very tired. And she's like, then take my hand, because she doesn't want to do this any more than anything else, but it's like she has her duty, her job, and her brother's asking her like that he wants things to go this way because it's the only way they can go, because he doesn't want anyone else to suffer because of him. And so ultimately, I was curious how it was going to play out, because he's reaching out to touch her hand just as Nola shows up and she decapitates Lyta. I was like, oh, is she dead? But it's like, no, like it's kind of the Inception thing of instead of dying in a dream, like, it's not Nightmare on Elm Street rules where you die in a dream, you die in real life. She wakes up now because she's kind of released from her bonds as the Avatar. But I think it's also, I wonder, is it because of the timing of just in that moment, the moment Dream dies, like it kind of like it coincided at the right moment to wake her up, because she probably still would have continued her rampage, but it's hard to say like how that would have like fared out and played out if like Anula hadn't done what she did. I think who knows, because the point was to kill Dream, but they still made it sound like they were going to still go on a rampage during the dreaming. So maybe by snapping her out of being their avatar, it's kind of like, well, now that Dream is dead, we can't use her as a means to go after the dreaming anymore, because now, like, well, we've done what we've done and we can't use any other excuse to go after the dreaming anymore. So I think that's kind of like the point. I think if she hadn't done what she did, Lyta would have continued her assault on the dreaming, but I don't know. At the same time, Dream dies, like, we see the situation with Goldie, who was with Delirium, which I thought was so cute, that it's out in public, and she's like, oh, people act like they've never seen a baby gargoyle before. And she's kind of like, oh, I guess they haven't. So she summons a string and wraps it around. It's like, see, let's go look for Barnabas. But in that moment, Goldie disappears, and she's like, she realizes what that means. She's like, that means Dream is gone. That sad reality of, oh, Goldie, you're gone, but also realizing that's the telltale sign that my brother's dead now. And so, with that all said and done, she eventually runs into Barnabas because he was with Hetty, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to lose sight of you for even 1 second. And so Hetty comes over and it's like, oh, and she's like, I could offer you this and that, but she's like, probably best not to take any favors from your kind. But it's like, oh, you kind of already are one of mine. And I'm curious what that necessarily means. I guess as one of the endless, all of you are kind of children to the, I don't know if that's what she means, or maybe specifically Hetty's circumstances connect her more directly to Delirium out of anyone. I don't know if that's what that implicated. I don't know if there's like some mythological stuff there that I'm not quite connecting. But yeah, she goes off. Well, Barnabas and Delirium are together, and I think it's nice that in a moment that her finding out her brother's dead, that she's not alone. Having Barnabas, I think, is important, and able to go home not alone. I think this is a time for no one to be alone. And ultimately, Hetty goes back, and she's there with Lyta, who can't remember what she's done. It's like, oh, he's dead. Like, who? Dream. You killed him. And it's like, what about Daniel? She's like, what about him? He's beyond your reach now. She's like, what are you talking about? It's like, you doing what you did made it so that he's beyond your reach now. Like, which is it? Who knows what that means? Like, could Lyta have gotten to Daniel even with him being in the state that he was? Maybe, maybe not. It's a situation of he would still be her baby to some extent. But because Dream is dead, he now has to fulfill his role as it. So, like, you basically made your child even further out of your reach. You can meet him in dreams, but it's still going to be different. Like like I said, I don't think there was any bringing him back to the waking world, but at the very least, that chance and connection with him as a child is now gone, because now with Dream gone, Daniel grows up, played by Jacob Anderson. I was like, hey, yo, I wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, he's the new Dream. He's no longer Daniel. Because Daniel would be like, it's kind of like giving up his. I mean, I doubt he'd go by the name Morpheus, because I do believe that is just Dream. Well, the previous Dream's name, but like maybe you could be like, I'm Daniel, but not really. I'm Dream now. Like I have to fill this void, knowing like. So I was curious about what that would mean for him now that. Like would they have to wait for him to age? But it's like, no, now that Dream is gone, he immediately steps into the fray, into the fold, and that's what this was all leading to, and that's what this was all marching towards. So that's the very sad element to this whole thing, that it had to come down to this. It does make you wonder, and maybe the next episode, the series finale, will kind of touch on what's next for Dream, or maybe the bonus episode will also touch on it. Who knows? Because I know, like, just based on the titling, the bonus episode revolves around death, so that's why I'm so curious. Like, maybe it's going to be after her, maybe like a journey, like after. I would assume it's. Well, we don't know where canonically the story going to take place. Will it be post Dream's death? Well, Morpheus' death, just to kind of, specify which Dream I'm talking about. But like our Morpheus, like would he the Morpheus we've come to know, the Dream we've come to know, I should say. I don't want to turn it. That's not hashtag not my dream, like not something stupid like that. But you get what I'm trying to say. So I'm curious where that episode take place. I'm so curious to see. I mean, this next episode, the series finale, will, for all intents and purposes, be an epilogue, if not the bonus episode being an epilogue. But I'm so curious to see what happens now. I'm assuming the Endless will gather, now that like Dream is gone, and I'm so curious to see where that goes. Now that they're meeting their new nephew/sibling, and how that plays, and also what this means for life. Like I said, I believe Daniel will probably come visit her in a dream, and there's some solace of knowing he's okay, but there's also the sad heartbreak and the great tragedy of it all, and it all is in the grand scheme of things. I guess you could also say it's kind of a northern Norse tragedy, because of the whole Puck of it all. Loki of it all. But I'm curious to see maybe that's what we'll get next episode, some of the reactions. I wonder would Destruction come back because of this too, to meet the new Dream, knowing like, I'm sure word has reached him, and maybe he'll still be like, I'm not coming back. But the rest of the Endless, their reaction to the new Dream, or the news and feeling that their brother is gone, and, especially with Death being the one who took his hand and was there for him at the very end, and, what lies beyond that for, the humans is kind of unknown. I mean, Death might know, but for them, that's their own journey. What's next for Morpheus in that next leg of his journey? So we'll ultimately have to wait to see where the series finale, like I said, quote unquote, because of the bonus episode, takes us in the grand scheme of things in the aftermath of this episode. But really, that's all I want to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.